While on 9th November and 10th, 2025, in the quiet industrial suburb of Faridabad's Dhuj, a joint team of Jammu and Kashmir police and local Haryana authorities executed a series of raids that would expose one of the most sophisticated terror networks India had seen in years. What they uncovered was not a hidden militant camp in the mountains, but a cache of explosives stashed in rented rooms by seemingly respectable professionals. At the heart of this haul was over 2,900 kilograms, yes, you heard that right, kilograms of ammonium nitrate, the volatile chemical that would later claim 9 lives in Srinagar's Nowgam Police Station. On the evening of 14th of November, a joint team assembled in a secured open yard behind Nowgam Police Station. The team included officers from the State Investigation Agency, forensic science laboratory experts, a Naib Tehsildar acting as executive magistrate, crime scene photographers and a couple of civilian helpers, one of them a local tailor. Their task was straightforward: draw samples from 360 kilograms of seized ammonium nitrate so that chemical analysis could conclusively link the material to the Red Fort blast. On the same night at exactly 11:20 p.m., a massive explosion tore through Nowgam Police Station on the southern outskirts of Srinagar. The blast was so powerful that it was heard more than 30 kilometers away. Here's a CCTV video from outside in a house in a nearby colony. You can see windows shuttering after the impact of the blast was hit. In fact, let's listen to it. Well, here's another video from the time of the blast. Well, though it's not colored footage, in the left side of your screens, you can see the massive fireball that erupted at the time of the blast. The fact that 360 kg of ammonium nitrate exploded at the site is in itself enough to prove the scale of the blast. The aftermath of this blast was tragic. 9 people died on the spot and 32 others were injured. Several others are battling for their lives in nearby hospitals in Srinagar. This was not a terror attack, it was a catastrophic accident involving explosives seized only days earlier in connection with the Red Fort bombing in Delhi. The 9 people who died were standing closest to the material. They included 4 police and SIA personnel, 2 FSL experts, the Naib Tehsildar, 1 photographer and the civilian tailor. Several others suffered critical blast injuries and burns. The station building partially collapsed. Nearby houses lost roofs and windows. For hours, rescue teams worked under floodlights, pulling colleagues and civilians from the rubble. The effect of the explosion, however, was not just restricted to one room. It destroyed the whole police station. And on your screens is the rubble that was left in the wake of the explosion. This is all that is left of the police station now. Several officials were present on the spot. They needed just a few grams for a laboratory confirmation. In fact, ammonium nitrate is supposed to be safe if you treat it gently. Keep it cool, keep it dry, keep fire and contaminants away. One spark, one moment of friction, one droplet of the wrong chemical, and the gentleness no longer exists. In a fraction of a second, all 360 kilograms detonated with a roar that rolled across the Kashmir Valley like artillery fire. Windows were shattered 30 kilometers away. A fireball punched into the night sky. 9 people vanished in the blast, evaporated. 4 police and SIA personnel, 2 FSL experts, the Tehsildar, 1 photographer and a tailor. Others were hurled through the air, limbs broken, skin burned, fighting for their lives in a hospital. A major hold that is being discussed is the Jammu and Kashmir Police's unawareness about the gravity of the situation. Ammonium nitrate, after all, is used to create fertilizers and when mixed with urea. Experts say that this explosive is new to India, so despite vigilance and safekeeping, keeping it in a police station without detonating it, as is a case of other regular explosives and AIDs, was not a good idea. Several reports soon emerged and curious if this explosion was really accidental or in fact deliberate. However, the Ministry of Home Affairs held a public briefing to talk in detail about the explosion, quashing all these rumors. Listen in.
As a part of standard and prescribed procedure, the recovered chemical and explosive samples were being forwarded for further forensic and chemical examination. Because of voluminous recovery, the said process was continuously attended for about last 2 days by following the standard operating procedure. Owing to unstable and sensitive nature of the recovery, it was being handled very carefully under the expert supervision. However, during the process, an accidental explosion took place at about 11:20 p.m. on 14th November, that is yesterday night. In this unfortunate accidental incident, 9 people have lost their lives, whereas 27 police personnel, 2 revenue officials and 3 civilians have received.
Well, Jammu and Kashmir's Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha laid a wreath and paid homage to the police personnel, government officials and a civilian who lost their lives in the blast near the Nowgam Police Station premises last night. He also offered the condolences to the families of the deceased. But any tribute will never fill the gaps in the hearts of the families of the deceased. On your screens is the family of the tailor who lost his life in this explosion. We must address the fact that 9 families will never get answers that bring their loved ones back. 9 flags will drape 9 coffins, and the same chemical that terrorists turned into a bomb has now claimed the lives of the officers who stopped them. The nation is asking hard questions. Why was such a huge quantity of explosives kept inside a police station in the middle of a crowded suburb? Why was sampling done late at night in an open yard instead of a remote demolition range? These 9 lives could have been saved with stricter protocols. This was the story of Nowgam explosion, a chapter that left a dent in the lives of 9 families. Well, let us talk about this with our guest. We will have Major Mohammad Ali Shah joining us momentarily, but we also have some breaking news coming in. But before that, let's take a break now. We'll be right back.